Top stories in this edition of Sxmislandtime TV News. The island records its first homicide for 2016. Liat removes surcharge from airline tickets. And Minister of Health Emil Lee responds to MP Cornelius de Wever on the Zika virus issue. I'm Andre Huey and welcome to Sxmislandtime TV News, a recap of some of the major stories making news this past week in St. Martin. A man from the Dominican Republic, identified as Patricio Jimenez, age 56, was the island's first murder victim for 2016. Patricio, aka Barber, was shot by an unknown gunman in the privacy of his home Monday evening, sometime after 7 in the district of Sucker Garden. His home is located behind the Rainbow Supermarket in Sucker Garden. Police spokesman Inspector Ricardo Henson confirmed the killing and that his colleagues are putting together the pieces of evidence to determine who is responsible for this murder and the circumstances surrounding it. Sources in the area told 7-1 News that Barber was a businessman who collects metal and other scrap iron which he resold. It is believed that Barber was a victim of a robbery which was carried out in order to take his day's earnings. The theory is not yet confirmed by police. Minister of Health Emil Lee and Member of Parliament Miguel de Wever trade barbs on the Zika virus health issue facing St. Martin. Minister of Health, the Honourable Emil Lee, on Wednesday responded to the press statement from the former Minister of Health, Member of Parliament, the Honourable Cornelius de Wever, on government's handling of the Zika virus problem which is currently plaguing the region. According to Mr. Lee, MP de Wever comments can be classified as malicious. The minister then went on to give an outline of how the ministry has been handling the problem of the virus and their consultations with key stakeholders.
Basically, in his article, he says that the minister is not proactive or hands-on in terms of addressing the issue of the mosquito-borne virus, the Zika virus. So, number one, what this does is this implies that government, its ministry, fails to perform. And I believe that this is also fear-mongering for political gain. This is trying to instill in the public the sense that nothing's being done, that you are somehow been abandoned and left uncared for by this, by the minister and by the ministry. So a couple things I'd like to really clarify. So in terms of the ministry's approach towards the Zika virus, I have an update that actually I received back in December, and this is from Dr. Asin, who's head of Collective Preventive Services. And from as early as May of 2015, Collective Preventive Services has been on top of the issue. They've been communicating with physicians on the island. They've been communicating in particular also with the gynecologists and pediatricians. So, you know, the notion that the ministry hasn't been on top of this is complete nonsense.
A boat docked at Island Water World in Simpson Bay caught fire this past week. The Rescue and Coordination Center of Dutch Caribbean Coast Guard received an alert on Wednesday afternoon at around 4:30 p.m. that a power boat moored at a dock in Cold Bay was on fire. More in this report. Immediately, 2 vessels of the Coast Guard substation in Simpson Bay were deployed to see how they could assist. The fire department, police, sea rescue, shipping inspection, and an ambulance were also notified. Upon arrival of the Coast Guard, they found the powerboat Rum Runners completely on fire, which is also spreading to the Naughty Dream and the Low Emma, also moored at the dock, and also part of the dock itself. In order to get better access to the boats, the firefighters came on board of the Coast Guard vessels with their hoses. The pilot boat of the harbor also assisted with its water cannon. Around 7:15 p.m., when the fire was finally out, the Coast Guard placed an oil boom around the area to avoid fuel and debris drifting into the bay. All 3 boats, including part of the docks, were completely destroyed. Apparently, the Rum Runners had been leaking fuel, which was ignited by a spark and caused the fire. The owner got second-degree burns on his leg but jumped into the water to put out the fire. He was attended to by ambulance personnel later on. Fortunately, there were no other casualties. The boat also caused a huge traffic backup in Cold Bay. Caribbean airline Liat announced this week that it is removing fuel surcharges on all tickets booked effective the 1st of March 2016. Chief Executive Officer David Evans said oil is now trading at a 12-year low, ending a decade of high jet fuel costs, which has impacted the price of tickets. According to Mr. Evans, he said, quote, "We are committed to offering our customers the most affordable fares, so our finance team regularly reviews the fuel surcharge levels, and whenever changes are decided upon, we announce them to the market." End quote. He said the deduction will mean fares will fall by an average of 5%. So beginning March 1st, customers will only have to pay the airfare and any applicable airport and government taxes. While the price of oil has been trending downwards, Mr. Evans explained that the effects of crude oil price reductions take some time to impact on the cost of aviation fuel. Mr. Evans said the surge in oil prices since 2003 had turned fuel into one of LIAT's largest costs. Efforts will be made to have former director of the Princess Juliana International Airport, Regina Labega, reinstated as a consultant to the airport. Government Minister Ingrid Arundel, who is responsible for the airport, confirmed on Wednesday during the Council of Ministers press briefing that the former director of the airport, who was suspended while on sick leave, is now on leave of absence until her contract ends in June 2016.
Regina Labega took leave of absence, and the absence was granted by the operational company, which is her employer, awaiting the decision of her appeal. The leave of absence is until June 30th, 2016. That is the same period that her contract expired. So during that period, we are going to discuss the situation and see how best to solve this problem. Because actually, after June 30th, she'll be out of a job. But she is waiting the appeals case decision, their decision on that, which will have no impact on the situation. However, we are awaiting that decision, and once the decision has been taken, we will take further actions. With regards to the supervisory board, you said they're not cooperating.
Ask if they are.
If they are, I did not receive any resistance from them. I sat with them, and they did cooperate in granting Ms. Labega the request, the leave of absence, so therefore they are cooperating. However, maybe there are other situations that I am not familiar with, but they did not, I was not privy to that type of situation as yet. Presently, I'm dealing with the Regina Labega situation in her request for the leave of absence, and that request was granted by the operating company. With regards to the personnel and their strike, I received a letter from them requesting a meeting. However, we told them that they have to sit with the, I think it was the Labor Department and the mediator to solve the problem. However, I did not receive any feedback or answer for them. I will have to look into that situation again.
And finally, on Sxmislandtime TV News, NVGV on Thursday presented LED energy-saving light bulbs to 5 senior citizens at its Pontville office. Also present was Home Away from Home President Patsy Flanders. Member of Parliament Maurice Lake was also scheduled to be present for the presentation, but had to be at the House of Parliament for a meeting. MP Lake has been a staunch supporter of the Senior Citizen Relief Program that NVGB initiated. LED bulbs are one of today's most efficient, energy-saving and rapidly developing technologies. They use only 20 to 25% of the energy and last up to 25 times longer than the traditional incandescent bulbs. NVGB will be giving out 800 LED energy-saving light bulbs to 160 senior citizens who received a voucher that was given out on the 20th of December. Each senior citizen who has a voucher will receive 5 light bulbs. NVGB's commercial manager Iris Arundel is reminding those who have received vouchers to bring them in at the Pontville office in order to receive the LED bulbs. Arundel added that seniors will see a reduction in their utility bills, as this would contribute to lower usage and lower bills at the end of each month. In 2014, NVGB personnel installed LED light bulbs in 30 homes belonging to senior citizens. This was the company's first experience of this nature, which led to the introduction of the Senior Citizens Relief Program. The program is currently being evaluated by the government and has been temporarily halted. Arundel added that the program has to be properly structured so all who meet the requirements can take part in the program. To end Sxmislandtime TV News, a look again at the headlines. The island records its first homicide for 2016, and Minister of Health Emil Lee responds to MP Cornelius de Weaver on the Zika virus issue. This has been the Sxmislandtime TV News. I'm Andre Huey. Thank you for watching.